I was with some friends and they were talking to me about like, what kind of music is it okay to listen to? All right, so I'm not going to listen to explicit music with these kind of lyrics, but maybe it sometimes has a swear word. But I've also heard that like, types of rhythms, things like that are problematic. Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension presents St. Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross. They're coming for me. They're speaking to my heart, and through them are little fires being sort of kindled within me. And I've been reading its book, Fire Within, got it right here, by Ignatius Press, Father Dubé. If you want to follow along, we've been doing the Friars did a podcast starting in July, Poco Poco Podcast, it's called. And I think it's just really good, and it's been really helpful for my spiritual life. Here's one of the conditions of growth, and I'm going to get to it through a question that was asked. What kind of music is it okay to listen to? Let's have a general conversation about why and the amount of music you're listening to, why you're listening to it, and how much are you listening to it. Even like wholesome music, is it a distraction? Is it noise? Is it unnecessary entertainment? Is it something that, although good in itself, by having it too often, it's actually smothering the best work that the Lord wants to do in your interior life? Is it actually doing harm in you not becoming a great saint and a great mystic? And the idea is this, is one of the conditions of growth from the saints, one of the conditions of growth that St. Teresa talks about, one of the conditions of growth that St. John of the Cross also affirms, is solitude. Solitude not just being quiet time to pray. Solitude being the removal of all unnecessary distractions from our life, which ultimately have a negative effect on our interior dialogue with the Lord. So solitude can be, and if possible, it should be like a daily experience in reference to like some time to pray alone. As Matthew's Gospel talks about, I'm going to go into the interior room and I'm going to talk to the Lord, and my Heavenly Father who sees what is done in secret will reward me. Like, this is a type of solitude. Solitude might also be going off for a retreat or something like that for a more extended period of time. But what I'll say is this, like the most problematic attack on our solitude is not that we are not just praying 10 or 15 minutes a day, and that but our entire the entire life that we live, which is filled with noise and distraction, which ultimately, right, as like from the parable of the sower and the seed, this is the type of lifestyle and environment that ultimately like chokes the seed as it's trying to grow and prevents it from really growing and really flourishing. And so the invitation of the saints, the invitation of St. Teresa, the invitation of St. John of the Cross, ultimately the invitation of Jesus is come to me and leave behind the unnecessary. And so certainly like with the music conversation, with entertainment conversation, with screen time conversation, with even like food conversation, with news, these types of things, okay, we have discussions about whether or not this or that or whatever is okay, is good, is rightly ordered. But also like we want to have this kind of disposition, this inclination to minimizing what we can minimize. I've just lived with some really, really holy brothers. And one of the things consistent with them is like they are very slow to turn on the radio. They're very slow to fill whatever their space is with noise. And so maybe they're cleaning the linens. But as they're doing so, they've developed this interior solitude and this desire for solitude. So they're cleaning and they're doing their tasks. Maybe they're sweeping, whatever it is. But it's in the quiet, at the service of this interior solitude. Like they're talking with the Lord. And the conversation, which was begun in the morning in the chapel, is not being just halted and left in the chapel, but it's being continued in the intimate place of their heart, or maybe again they're sowing something, they're working out in the garden. And these holy brothers and these brothers who I've seen who just really experience the Lord deeply in prayer, and this is manifest through an incredible generosity and humility and compassion, like these guys are men of quiet and they are men of solitude. If we want to be saints, right, and if we want to go deep and we want to experience this receiving from the Lord, from like the first video of like sort of the garden out in the rain and it's just pouring down and we're receiving it totally, like to get there we have to develop a lifestyle, an environment of solitude, of quiet with the Lord, specific prayer times, but also as we're driving, as we're working out, as we're working, as we're at the office, as we're running, these types of things, as we're doing the dishes, can we try to begin a journey of greater quiet, of greater recollection, of less noise? Because in the solitude, in the silence, in the stillness, in the detachment, the Lord is there, and the Lord is waiting for us. And so this involves, like St. John the Cross has some beautiful lines for his brothers and for us of like, hey, mind your business. As other people are going about doing stuff, hey, just let's have a greater freedom to just mind our business. This is one of the things St. Teresa says. Who wishes to enter the second mansions will be advised, as far as his state of life permits, to try and put aside all unnecessary affairs and business. This is to get into the second mansion. There's like 6 of them, right? So like, if we want to grow early on, one of the things we have to do is like, let's remove from our lives the unnecessary. Let's really kind of like have a fine tooth and kind of like have some real boundaries of like, what do I actually have to care about? What am I just going to trust to the Lord? And so it's just a matter of like, first things first. First thing is we pursue the Lord. First thing we do is try and cultivate that relationship with Him, and just try and let's just try and be really prudent, be really disciplined about the distractions, about the noise. For certain parts of our lives, certain states of life, certain celebrations, these things are fine. But if we really want to go deep in that interior life, let's cast that into the deep for solitude as well. Pray for me. I'm trying this journey. I love music. I love distraction. I love sports. I love the news. I love all that sort of stuff. But I love Jesus more. And I want to love Him more, and I want to experience His love for me more. So pray for me that I may keep the first thing first, Jesus Christ and His goodness. And praying that you are able to do the same. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos, poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. Let's do it, friends. Let's be saints. Let's be mystics. Let's change the world with the Lord's help. Let's cast out into the deep. Let's have courage and determination. Don't be afraid. All right. See you.